And by the way, I have bad news for anybody hoping to see any kind of drop-off from the defending Super Bowl champions. If you're not plugged into NFL on Twitter, you did not see this. If you are, you saw it everywhere. Our first taste of the Mahomes Worthy collab. There was an 11 on 11. KC Sports Network, our friends there, thanks for letting us use the footage. We love you, and it's looking pretty easy peasy. It's looking pretty lethal with those wide receivers there. Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey hung out with them last week at the O-line Masterminds down in Frisco, Texas, and they said, yeah, wide receiver playoff, yeah, child's play over there with Xavier Worthy. It's of course just it's not just a nice, normal, deep ball. We have Mahomes sprinting to his left, throwing Brack across the middle, and then Worthy and that speed on full display for a touchdown. So good luck, everybody. Let the games begin. It was beautiful. I think it's encouraging to see, especially with Worthy missing a chunk of the offseason with a hamstring injury. You want all the reps you can get, all the chemistry, unless they just got it like that. And you don't need it unless two are just doing that out there. And by the way, it wasn't just Worthy out there making plays either. Shout out to Hollywood Brown. Nice couple grabs from Mahomes too. And seeing all of this got me thinking that even with the unprecedented level of success young Patrick has had at just 28 years young, and as ridiculous as this might sound, I do think does anyone want to question that there's another level to Patrick and this offense that we haven't seen yet? No, you shouldn't, because there is. Let me explain. We saw, straight from Texas Tech, gunslinger Mahomes early in his career. He had Tyreek, he had Kelsey at their peaks, at their primes, and then there were video game numbers that he was putting up. Then we saw the O-line go through some issues in 2020. Tyreek gets shipped off to Miami, and then last year we need to fight through this season with a banged-up Travis and a lot of other unproven weapons. And we've seen Patrick evolve through change after change. It's what makes you great. Can you evolve? Can you adjust? Can you grow? I always tell Richard Issakoff, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So they continue to evolve and crush it, especially during the most recent Super Bowl run, which was, in fact, their most impressive. Let's not forget, Patrick finished the 2023 regular season with the highest turnover rate, the lowest passer rating of his career, before he just turns the on button in the playoffs. He cut out the giveaways. He managed the game. He was like a different human. He picked his spots to be superhuman, and he let the defense do their thing. So it was great. And as talented as he's always been, there is no question we saw a different side of him during that run. And if he can take that Patrick into this year and maybe merge it with the gunslinger Mahomes we've seen in the past. I went and got a Slurpee this weekend in Chicago with my niece. You put a little Coke and you put a little cherry. If he can do both of those things, it's delicious. And it'll, be amazing with a revamped group of playmakers at his disposal. A three-peat. And even those, listen, those Peyton Manning single-season Packer records are elusive, but they are the goal. And as long as Peyton records stand, there is still another level to this Patrick reaching for that and surpassing that. And I think he can get there. Hammy, KC Sports Network, amazing for giving us that footage. They were on it. They got it out there before the Chiefs got it out there. It was out there. It was everywhere. It was unsurprising. And it was just, to me, it wasn't like a wow. It was like a, yeah.
Here we go again. Yeah.
What do you got?
It really was. And you mentioned some of those Peyton Manning records. You mentioned the three-peat. If you look over on FanDuel Sportsbook right now, remember the narrative kind of this whole offseason was the Niners had better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Chiefs. That's no longer the case. They now both have the same odds at plus 600 to win the Super Bowl this year. Mahomes is the favorite to lead the NFL in passing at plus 700. And Mahomes is the favorite to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns at plus 550. I feel like that one video started shifting the odds already.
Yeah, I mean, legit. And I want to know Worthy. We got to get Worthy. We got to get Worthy on the show. I know we're like we're in our off-season mode and we're looking ahead to training camp. But the news from Green Bay, who just signed yesterday? Why can't I think of it? Kenny Clark. Him signing and Worthy. I'm like, I want them on my show this morning. I want to reach out to those representatives. I know they can't because they're in training camp, but it's like, I can't wait for the season and those plays to happen and be like, talk me through every second of what that was and what that meant. Do they have a weakness in your opinion?
I think I don't know if it's a weakness, but just the one question mark is some reshuffling in that offensive line, the left tackle situation, because Donovan Smith is no longer there. They drafted Kingsley this year. They drafted Wanya Morris, who filled in a little bit last year, who did okay. So, like, if there's one thing you're going to look at, I think it's that left tackle spot, but I'm not super concerned about that with everything else they have going.
We used to do a segment on Good Morning Football back in the day called Heavy Lifting, and it was Kyle and Nate and Peter and I would go around the table and like try to make the case for something, and it was like really heavy lifting. And you just did that. It brought me back some retro moments here. Those odds are amazing, guys. Go have fun over at FanDuel Sportsbook when it comes to Mahomes and the Chiefs, and appreciate you, Hammy.